The story begins in 1950 inside a car factory where several cars were being prepared. However, one red car was special, and a mechanic was working on it. As he was checking the engine, the car's hood suddenly slammed shut, severely injuring his hand. He was rushed to the doctor. Following that, another mechanic came to inspect the car. While he was inside, the ash from his cigar fell onto the seat. Eventually, hours passed, and work at the factory finished. Everyone was returning home, but as the supervisor left, he noticed the red car's light was still on. As soon as he opened the car door, the body of the mechanic with the cigar fell out. 28 years had passed since this incident. We see a student named Dennis arriving at the house of another boy named Arnie. Arnie was a very straightforward, bookish boy. Dennis and Arnie were quite different, but they quickly became good friends. It was their first day of school. Upon arriving, they took out new books from their lockers. Just then, they noticed a new girl named Lee, whose beauty had captivated all the boys in the school. Later, as Dennis and Arnie were heading home, Arnie suddenly spotted a car outside a house and immediately asked Dennis to stop. When they went closer, they saw it was a classic red car. This was the same factory car we saw at the start of the story, but now it was completely dilapidated. However, Arnie didn't care. He instantly became obsessed with the car. Just then, the car's owner, George, arrived. He said the car's name was Christine, and it belonged to his brother, who had died a few weeks earlier. George actually wanted to get rid of the car as quickly as possible, so he agreed to sell it for only $50. Dennis advised Arnie, "Why are you spending money on this old junk? Get another one." But Arnie bought the car on the spot without a second thought. That evening, when he returned home, he told his parents about buying the car, for which his mother scolded him severely. But Arnie didn't listen to her because he had bought the car with his own savings. Still, his mother insisted that the car would not stay in their house. So Arnie drove the car with Dennis to a garage. There, they met the garage owner, Will, who was a complete grump, but he still gave Arnie permission to keep his car there. On the way, Dennis asked Arnie why he bought such a cheap, beat-up car like Christine. Arnie replied that he hadn't chosen the car had chosen him. The next day, Dennis was waiting for Arnie during lunch. When Arnie didn't show up after a long time, Dennis went looking for him. He saw a bully named Buddy harassing Arnie. When Dennis tried to intervene, Buddy threw his lunch on the ground and pushed Arnie onto it. Poor Arnie's glasses fell off, and Buddy crushed and broke them under his feet. Buddy then started laughing at Arnie's plight, but Dennis seized the opportunity and attacked Buddy. Immediately, Buddy's gang surrounded Dennis. Soon, a teacher arrived and stopped the fight. Arnie then told them that Buddy had threatened him with a knife. When the teacher asked Buddy to empty his pockets, the knife fell out. The teacher finally sent Buddy and his gang to the office, after which Buddy was expelled from school. Weeks passed in this manner, and Arnie worked day and night to fix the car. Subsequently, the garage owner hired Arnie to help out at the garage, and in return, Arnie could collect some parts for his car. Arnie agreed and wholeheartedly devoted himself to fixing the car. However, he didn't realize when his dedication to fixing the car turned into an excessive attachment to Christine. That evening, Dennis went to meet Arnie because they hadn't seen each other for days. But he noticed that Arnie had changed drastically. He was walking like a roughneck without glasses and wearing stylish clothes. He didn't even stop to talk to Dennis for long and went straight to work at the garage. His mother tried to stop and left. Then, his mother told Dennis that she was quite worried about Arnie and his new car because they found out that the car's previous owner had suffocated to death inside the vehicle. Hearing this, Dennis went to meet George, who told him his brother's story. He explained that when his brother bought Christine, he became completely obsessed with her. His wife and daughter also lost their lives in this car, and after his brother's death, the car somehow started itself and was found at the shipyard. Feeling worried, Dennis went to the garage to check the car. He tried to open the car, but as soon as he pulled the handle, the radio switched on by itself, and Dennis immediately got scared and ran away. The next morning, Dennis was at the school stadium for their football match. Dennis was focusing on scoring a goal when he suddenly saw Arnie arrive. His car, Christine, was now perfectly restored, which shocked Buddy and his friends. Then Lee also got out of the car and kissed Arnie in front of everyone. Seeing this, Dennis felt a little angry and lost focus on the game. Taking advantage of the moment, the opposing players tackled him and stole the ball. The tackle was so hard that Dennis hit the ground, immediately losing consciousness and suffering a severe injury. Several days after the incident, Dennis woke up to find himself in a hospital with his leg and neck in plaster. Arnie came to visit him. Dennis realized that his friend was changing too quickly. Just a month ago, he was a timid boy who obeyed his parents' every word. Arnie quickly said goodbye and left. Later that evening, Arnie went to the movie theater with Lee, and afterward they started kissing in the car. But when things escalated, Lee suddenly got out of the car. Arnie followed her, and Lee said that he loved the car more than her. Arnie found her words very strange, but he somehow managed to persuade Lee to get back into the car. That moment, the windshield suddenly malfunctioned, and Arnie got out to check. Inside, Lee was about to eat something when the car's radio suddenly turned on. At the same time, a bright light came from the dashboard, and Lee felt like she was choking and couldn't breathe. Arnie immediately rushed to help her, but the car was locked from the inside. Arnie frantically tried to open the car from the outside, but to no avail. Lee was about to die from suffocation, but she managed to unlock the door from the inside at the last moment, and a man standing nearby pulled her out. Seeing this, Arnie angrily attacked the man, but he was only trying to remove the food stuck in Lee's throat. The situation finally calmed down, and Arnie dropped Lee back home. Lee immediately rushed inside and said she didn't want to talk to Arnie. Arnie tried to apologize, but it was firmly established in Lee's mind that the car had tried to kill her. Furthermore, she believed that Christine was jealous of her, because something always went wrong when they were together in the car. Hearing all this, Arnie felt Lee was overwhelmed, so he suggested they talk the next day. Arnie got back in the car, but it wouldn't start. Then he spoke to Christine, saying that what happened with Lee today didn't matter because he would always love Christine just as much. After this, he turned the key, and the car started immediately. He drove straight to the garage, left Christine there, and went back home. But just then, Buddy and his friends broke into the garage behind him. They were all armed with various weapons, and in no time they completely destroyed the car. The next day, Arnie somehow managed to talk to Lee, and they came to the garage so Arnie could retrieve his wallet from the car. But as soon as they went inside, Arnie was devastated to see Christine utterly demolished. Lee asked in surprise who had done this, but Arnie suddenly shouted at her without reason and told Lee to go away. Later, Arnie told his parents about it and they tried to calm him down, saying they would buy him a new car. This only made Arnie angrier because he knew that, like Lee, his parents also hated Christine. Moreover, he blamed his parents for Christine's condition, arguing that if they had allowed him to keep the car at home, it would be safe today. He then started yelling more harsh words and heading to his room, but his father grabbed him from behind and told him to apologize to his mother. However, Arnie continued to speak cruelly, so his father slapped him. But Arnie fought back and silently left the house. He went straight to Christine and decided to fix her again, piece by piece. But what he saw next shocked him completely. He saw that as if by magic, the car was repairing itself. Arnie was overjoyed and asked the car what else it could do. The car fully restored itself in a matter of moments. Later, in the middle of the night, we see a thug named Moochie, Buddy's accomplice, robbing a truck in the middle of the road. Suddenly, he heard the sound of a car engine in the distance. He got closer. He realized it was Christine, perfectly new, driving right up to him. He figured Arnie must be inside, and that Arnie knew he had helped Buddy wreck Christine. He started apologizing to Arnie, but the car's headlights suddenly turned on, and it sped towards Moochie. Moochie immediately ran for his life and hid in an alley next to the road. He thought the car would leave him alone now, but Christine immediately started chasing him again. Moochie ran and hid in an old warehouse, but Christine didn't stop pursuing him. Finally, Moochie was cornered, and Christine surrounded him, leaving him no escape. Moochie pulled out his knife and threatened Arnie, but Christine forcibly crashed inside and ruthlessly crushed Moochie. The next morning, Arnie went to meet Dennis and told him about Moochie's death. Dennis was very surprised to hear this. He also couldn't understand how Christine had fixed herself if she was completely destroyed. But Arnie gave no answer and quietly left. Just then, Detective Junkins came to meet him and assured him that he was looking for the thugs who attacked Christine and that he was also handling Moochie's murder case. Arnie said he knew nothing about Moochie's death, but was happy about the news. Hearing this, the detective became suspicious of him. He informed Arnie that his girlfriend had testified that the car had fixed itself despite being completely ruined. After hearing this, Arnie quietly walked away. Later, he called Lee and asked her to meet, but Lee refused, which made him even angrier. Meanwhile, Lee and her friend Dawn were driving with alcohol. Another car started chasing them on the road. Buddy stopped his car to see who was pursuing him, but he couldn't see anything due to the headlights. Then he reversed his car, and the other car also reversed in the same way, revealing that the car was none other than Christine. Buddy, in a fit of rage, sped away and stopped at a gas station where his friend Richie worked. He got out, grabbed an iron rod, and prepared to teach the person who was chasing him a lesson. But Christine came at high speed and crashed straight into Buddy's car, causing massive damage. Buddy thought Arnie was inside and told him to get out. But Christine crashed into Buddy's car again and pushed it right into the workshop. Don was sitting in the car, and Christine crushed him along with Buddy's car. At the same time, gasoline leaked from Buddy's car and suddenly caught fire. Within moments, there was a huge explosion throughout the garage, and Richie also died in the fire. Seeing this, Buddy ran for his life, but Christine, now burning, chased him again. Finally, she crushed Buddy too, and he burned to ashes there. A while later, Will heard the sound of a car arriving at the garage. He saw that Christine was enveloped in smoke. He was quite surprised because Arnie had gone to fix another car. He took his gun and went to see who was inside Christine. He tried to open the door, but it was too hot, so he used a cloth to open it. When he saw that the car was completely empty, he couldn't understand anything. Then he got into the car himself, but now he would have to pay the price for this mistake because Christine was not going to leave any witnesses alive today. Suddenly, the door locked from the inside, and then she slammed Will's seat into the dashboard, brutally killing him. The next morning, when Arnie arrived at the garage, he saw many police cars there. He met Detective Junkins and learned that the body of the garage owner, Will, had been found in Christine. Arnie said he didn't know how all this happened, but his heart knew Christine was behind it, as she was once again standing in her spot, gleaming. Meanwhile, Dennis returned home from the hospital, and Lee called him, saying she wanted to meet. Lee said she believed that Christine had possessed Arnie, and now he was doing all sorts of crazy things in his obsession with Christine. Dennis said he was sure Arnie wouldn't deliberately do anything wrong, but if Christine had taken over his mind, it was crucial to destroy her. After this, Lee returned home, but within moments, Arnie arrived there in Christine. He asked Dennis to come for a drive, so Dennis came down. Arnie was acting strangely again. He suddenly started driving at a very high speed and then even let go of the steering wheel. Seeing this, Dennis became quite scared and said that Christine was out of his control. But Arnie said cryptically that nothing could come between him and Christine. He had complete faith in Christine, and to prove his point, Arnie swerved the car into the opposite lane at full speed. They narrowly avoided a collision with an oncoming car. Seeing his friend on the verge of madness the next day, Dennis etched a note on Christine's hood, asking Arnie to meet him at the garage that evening. In the evening, Dennis and Lee were waiting for him at the workshop, but Arnie didn't show up. So, they got into a nearby excavator and drove it inside the workshop. They decided that Lee would stay in the office and close the gate as soon as Arnie entered, and Dennis would use the bulldozer to destroy Christine. Soon, as planned, Lee went into the office, but they didn't know that Christine was hidden among the scrap in the workshop. The car turned on its headlights and drove forward to crush Lee. Lee barely saved herself by grabbing a hanging tire, but Christine didn't give up and moved forward to attack her again. Just then, Dennis brought the excavator's claw in front of her so Lee wouldn't be harmed. Christine then retreated to the other side of the workshop, while Dennis drove the excavator the opposite way. Now, both vehicles were facing each other, and it was revealed that Christine was not driving alone. Arnie was helping her. He was completely under the car's control. Suddenly, the car turned on its headlights and completely fixed itself in a few seconds. Furthermore, the excavator had also stopped working, and Dennis started trying to restart it. Meanwhile, the car rushed towards the office to finish Lee for good. It smashed through everything, heading towards Lee, but due to the massive collision, Arnie crashed through the windshield and fell out. Lee rushed to him, but Arnie suddenly jumped up and scared her. Unfortunately, a large piece of the windshield glass had pierced his body. In his final moments, Arnie tried to touch his beloved car, but succumbed to his injuries and died right in front of Christine. Lee immediately fled, but Christine quickly put the car in reverse to try and crush her in retaliation. However, Lee narrowly escaped, and the car crashed into a pillar and got stuck. Dennis took this opportunity to restart the excavator and move towards Christine. He delivered a massive blow to the car, but it still fought back, trying to evade him. Christine moved towards Lee again, but Dennis crushed her from behind with the excavator's claw. This attack weakened the possessed car's power slightly. Lee quickly reached Dennis in the excavator, but Christine activated herself again and started to repair herself. To destroy this evil force forever, Dennis started the bulldozer and completely crushed Christine. She was still trying to survive, but this time she was completely demolished. Their battle finally ended, and the next day, Dennis and Lee met Detective Junkins at the junkyard. There they saw that Christine had been reduced to a pile of scrap. In the end, the three of them walked away, but then we saw a small piece of Christine twitch by itself, confirming that the evil car was still alive.